What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rage Corner. It is the first episode of the new season. The Australian Grand Prix has happened, and today we're going to talk a little bit about that, some main talking points. I'm also going to rate the race for its overtakes, its strategy, its crashes, and also my overall rating. So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about the Australian Grand Prix. Race time. The lights went out and Hamilton got a fantastic start compared to the rest of the guys around him and was leading into turn one. And Max Verstappen actually said before the race began that apparently whoever led into turn one was going to win the race. We thought that maybe there'd be a few collisions, a few impacts, but actually very clean apart from Kevin Magnussen, who had one of the worst days I've ever seen. He really did have everything go wrong. He was running wide, he was crashing into people, and then he finally retired. So Kevin had a terrible day, and Hamilton got a fantastic start. So he's kind of sorted that, at least for the first race of the season. It was good to see him get off the line well, because obviously he's had quite a few dire performances from his bad starts last season especially. So the dirty air effect on the 2017 cars are proving to be a little bit on the tricky side for drivers to follow. We saw Vettel at the start of the race trying to almost overtake Hamilton in the first couple of laps when he was able to stay within the DRS zone for the first 3 to 5 laps, I think it was. Then he dropped off a little bit because obviously the dirty air effect really was starting to affect his tyres. But then he still managed to go an extra how many laps? 3, 4 laps more than Hamilton. Then came into the pits and it all really kind of worked out for him from there, because Hamilton pitted early and came out behind Max. Well, he caught Max Verstappen. It would have been fine if Vettel had pitted. However, Ferrari got it right. Ferrari got it right for the first time in a while. I know they've been slated quite a lot on social media for their poor strategy calls, but today they nailed it. What even was Ricciardo's weekend? This weekend, like, he's had one of the worst home Grand Prix in quite a while that I've seen anyway, because Ricciardo crashes out of qualifying and then he can't start the race, and then he gets into the race 2 laps down and then eventually retires. I mean, the guy could not get a stroke of luck this weekend. Quite a horrible sight to see him pull over after an engine failure, and all those Australian fans just seeing their hero retire. So not good to see Ricciardo. I'm a fan of Ricciardo. I think a lot of you guys will be as well, and we want to see him do well. Was Kimi Raikkonen actually there this weekend? I mean, what was the guy doing? He was nowhere in qualifying. He wasn't really there in free practice either, I don't think. And in the race, I thought the new regulations, the tyres being able to push harder, would have actually benefited Kimi, but instead, he genuinely was so far off the pace compared to his teammate who won the race, and he was getting caught by Max Verstappen at the end. Like, I don't really know what was going on in his mind. Maybe he was thinking of Magnum ice lollies. Ice lollies, they're ice cream, Matt. But either way, still thinking of ice creams and not really pushing. But then again, gets fastest lap. Like, for 99% of the race, he was just chilling, just rolling around. And then he was like, right, okay, I'm just going to get the DHL fastest lap, whatever they call it. And yeah, he popped in a 26.5, I think it was, which was the fastest lap. So really kind of unsure as to where Kimi's mind was this weekend. Grosjean was looking pretty strong for a points finish, and then unfortunately his engine blew. He actually managed to get back into the pits, so there was no chance of a safety car. And Kevin Magnussen also retired, which made it a double Haas retirement. But Magnussen really, he probably was best to retire from what he was doing on the track. I'm not sure what was going on. Lance Stroll as well, he wasn't particularly impressive, to put it lightly. Like, he did crash a lot in pre-season testing, and then he was running wide in the race. I think he went off into the gravel at one point, although it was said that maybe it was his brakes. So there is a lot to learn with Lance Stroll. I've seen a lot of people commenting on social media saying it doesn't look like he's attacking the car. It looks like he's quite nervous, which actually, when we rode on board with him in the race, I have to agree with. Like, he's kind of dealing with oversteer, and it just, braking quite late for corners and then running wide, and I think he's got a lot to learn at the moment. Felipe Massa, the man who just, retired last year. Everyone was so sad to see him go. I was welling up watching that Brazilian thing, him walking down the pit lane, everyone clapping him. Go on, Felipe. It's been great knowing, now he's back this season. But he has not lost anything from last season, and he really does still have it. And I think, I think the commentators were saying that if he continues in this run of form, scoring points and doing well, then maybe he might not want to leave at the end of this season, which I think is his plan. But then maybe, Williams will, drop him another £4 million or whatever, and he'll stay for another year or two. But I'd like to see Felipe stay. He's probably one of the nicer and friendlier guys on the grid. Up with Danny Rick, I'd say. So probably the most exciting moment of the race was the fight between Alonso, Hulkenberg and Ocon. That was pretty scary, seeing the three of them go down towards turn one. It was like, oh no, this is going to end in a serious pile-up, considering the cars are wider as well. But actually, Ocon managed to take that position and score a point in his first race in Australia for Force India team. So a pretty decent debut for him, for his new team. After we spoke to him at the Force India car launch, he was like, yeah, I want to score points every race. And he's doing pretty well. So good job, Esteban. Finally, this brings me on to the roundup of the race. So I'm going to give my scores now for each of the different areas that I'm going to be rating over the course of the season and the different Grand Prix. So, overtaking. I'm going to give overtakes a 5 out of 10. And that's purely boosted by the three-man, straight down towards turn one between Ocon, Alonso and Hulkenberg. Otherwise, it's probably in the 3-4 area. There really was not many overtakes, although there were a few without DRS, which is nice to see. So hopefully we can have more of those and less DRS-reliant overtakes, which are just boring to watch. Crashes. It's got to be a 2, maybe 2.5. 2.5, maybe something around there, because really quite lackluster in crashes. But I don't really wish for crashes, but I know a lot of people, especially the casual viewers, will watch it for the first 5 laps potentially, or even maybe the first lap, just for some big crashes. But obviously we don't wish any harm upon the drivers, but at the same time, spectacular crashes do make it a bigger spectacle. Strategy. I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10, because there was quite a bit of uncertainty and we didn't really know whether the undercut or the overcut was going to work. It was quite interesting to hear Lewis get quite angry, a little bit on the tetchy side with his team. He was like, well, I can't get past, which, you know, like, what is the team supposed to do? Like, you've literally just come out the pits. They can't be like, right, we'll switch you onto another set and then you'll have to be 30 seconds plus catch and pass Vettel. Like, it's not going to happen. So I don't know why he's saying that, because the team can't like just get Verstappen out of the way, just chuck a check down to Red Bull. They're not just going to move Verstappen. And they didn't, and that's what cost Lewis the race. Overall, it was it was an okay race. I'd say it's probably down the middle at about a 5 out of 10. Mainly because of the hype for the new season. I still was quite interested to watch it. It was nice to see the new cars, the new regulations, the different lap times, it just being a lot quicker, and obviously a different race winner as well in the form of Sebastian Vettel. We saw the finger again, and unfortunately, well, it's not for Red Bull. It's for Ferrari, but we don't have a Ferrari finger just yet. Let me know exactly what your scores are for the crashes, overtakes, strategy, and overall rating, and I'll have a look in the comments section below. And also, the best comments will feature next time in the Rage Corner, so make sure you get your good comments in for that. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Matt, we're WTF1, and we're out of here. So you were asking for a kitchen. I had that's not a kitchen, we want a kitchen. Matt, you should ask WTF1 to get you a kitchen and bring back the bloody kitchen. So I'm not really sure why the kitchen was the main aspect. I thought you guys followed it because of me, but apparently you want a kitchen, so we'll keep that in mind.